And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new edition of This Is How Frustrating It Is to Mix a Song. I'm your host, Caesar. So, tonight we've got this song that I've submitted to Turnamix, and it's gonna be the main mix of this month of January. And it's one of my own productions alongside Navi. And yeah, so I'm gonna try to mix it. I hate mixing my own songs, but I'm gonna try to mix it. And I'm gonna try to show you guys exactly what's happening over here with the tracks, with everything else. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is switch to the track view in Cubase. I'm gonna show you guys the tracks. This is how they look like. So we got our drums over here in blue. We've got our bass over here in red. We've got an acoustic guitar over here in green. And then other colors, other nuances of purple and pink and stuff like that for all the other instruments. So we've got the guitars, we've got the pads, we've got the arpeggio type of thing, the reverberated arpeggio. We've got the distant voices, which is also kind of a pad. Arcade clarinets, it's going to be at the end over here in green. And basically everything else. What I did over here, so we have the ad-libs separated from the main vocals. And the main vocals, I did group them in two pairs of tracks, which are the verses and then the choruses, so I can have a bit more control over the volumes and over everything that I'm doing. So as a mix prep, before even showing you guys the song, basically what I did is I ran this here things, the voices first, through my Warm Audio LA2A clone compressor. And then I did, so I've done that beforehand so I can mix prep a bit. I did the same for the bass guitar over here. And the guitars, I've ran them through my analog SSL bus compressor. And I think the guitar lead as well, which I'm going to show you guys later on what it does and what it is. So before anything, I'm going to play the song, play what I have right now. And then we'll move on to start working and mixing on it and all of that. So these are the raw tracks of the song.
It was crowded in this town. I needed to escape somehow. The golden cage that I built was firmly pressed against my skin. I needed to leave behind the lies and find my light in shimmering eyes. To make the days on wooden floors forget the world outside these walls.
Was it more than nothing? Must count for something. It was a nightmare in the end, but it's the best dream I've ever had.
We ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the halfway out the heartbreak, and now the sweetest escape was just a fucking mistake.
So this here is the song. It's the raw tracks. I have 1 or 2 volumes done over here, but they're not permanent and they're not gonna stay like that. Before anything, I'm gonna show you guys right now over here in the mixer view. I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I'm using to start with. So this here is my mix track. Let me show you guys the routing as well. So this here is my mix track. So all of these groups over here go into this track over here, and this is my mix bus. And what I have on my mix bus by default is my overstereo MAS. I always mix through this thing because it kind of gives me the drive of a console, the master drive of a console. And we're going to be using the SSL bus compressor later on, and then the Better Maker EQ, which is this one over here. On each of my tracks, so all of my tracks over here go from this side, yeah, go into these groups over here. So I have my drums, my bass, my guitars, my keys, my backing vocals, my ad-libs, and my main vocals. And on every track, I have the SSL 9000 K, I think. Is it? Yes, the 9000K consoles from Softube console 1. And on the groups, on the buses basically, I have SSL the Vice Gambit series thing. So we're gonna start diving into this mix over here, and we're gonna try to see exactly what can be done to improve. I'm really hoping I'm at least gonna get close to the official mix, because Marian Nika, who mixed this song, he's great. Like, and I don't know how close I can get to his work, but it is what it is. So we're just gonna start over here. We're just gonna start with the drums, as I usually do, and we're gonna try to level them a bit. Basically, they're all samples, so I don't really have to work too much on them, except maybe for some EQ. And yeah, that's kind of it. They're compressed, they're limited, they're everything. So I've done this song using some samples. So the first thing that I have here is the drum loop, which was originally intended to be just a guide for me and Navi to start working on this song and to produce it, but it ended up in the whole song. We liked it enough that it stayed. So it's good because it was not that hard, probably, hopefully, to mix. And it sounds like this. And it's all nice, but there's a maybe small, very small things that I would like to take out of them. But let's see exactly how they sound like with the other drums. So I'm just gonna start my drum bus over here. I'm gonna switch you guys to the main view, in which you guys can actually see the console 1 on the upper left side of your screen. It doesn't have 100% opacity, so you know exactly what's happening behind it as well. You can see what's happening behind it. But yeah, I'm gonna switch you guys to this one, and then I'm gonna try to mess a bit with the volumes over here to make it all in context, basically. So I do have a kick track over here, which comes in only at the choruses. Snare and claps, which do come in only at the choruses. Then I have some percussion that again comes in only at the choruses. Again, the drum loop didn't really need so much work on the verses. Then I have this impact track, which is this one over here, and a sweep. So the impact sounds like this. The sweep. And then we have the high percussion. The claps. Nice claps. the snare, the extra snare basically. And then the second kick. So what we're trying to do right now is get it from this which is already good. But I need to mess a bit with the volumes because it's gonna go into the chorus. It's gonna come inside a bit too hard. So the volumes are not exactly done. So this is the first thing that I want to do on this because, again, like I told you guys before, I don't need to do a lot of compression on this. Probably I won't do at all compression on the single elements over here. I'm probably going to compress a bit of the drum bus, but all I need to mess with over here are the volumes. So the idea for the chorus is to make this drum loop over here, which is the verse drum loop. I need to get it to sound a bit more powerful, but not that much powerful into the chorus because it's too much. So the first thing that I'm going to start with is the sweep, because the sweep is probably the loudest part out of this. I want it to be nice and, you know, to get me ready for the chorus, but I don't want it that loud. So let's try to see how it sounds like just with the drum loop, because this is going to be my main focusing point. Perfect. Now, let's enable the kick, and let's have the kick volume measured over here. Not measured, sorry, balanced. As you can notice, I don't really need that kick to hear it. I just needed to add the extra punch over there that I'm looking for on this song. Now the snare. It's barely coming in, and that's kind of what I want from it. So we know from the beginning that this song it's gonna have a lot of voice on this chorus, so I don't really want the snare to be too predominant. Now I do have my claps, which come in at the same time as the snare. So we're gonna try to balance these ones as well into the whole mix. Now the high percussion here. That's grand. Now the impact. Again, the impact is usually the most overwhelming one out of all of them. I want it to have, the sort of impact that you need, but then I need it to be blended well with the rest of the kit. So if you guys are noticing, the impact, the transient actually comes in after the whole thing. So what the impact is going to do in this case is just leave that what's it called, sustain thing. It's going to just stay over there and give it this nice vibe of an actual chorus. So that should be good enough. Now, let's go on. I'm going to switch you guys to the console 1 view, and let's go on to the EQ. Now, what I want from this drum loop, the first thing that I want is just to take care of a bit of those little hi-hats. So because it's a full drum loop, I'm going to treat it as a bus, this first track. And I'm just going to cut some of them, those high frequencies over there. That's good enough. Now, just gonna put this one in solo over here. So the hi-hat is not annoying anymore. It was too much in front over here, and now it's grand. Now, let's see how we can... I'm gonna switch you guys to the main view again. And again, you're going to see just around over here what I'm doing on my console 1. So you can catch up with everything that I'm doing here. This is the kick, the second kick. Now, what I want from this kick over here is a bit more low end, and I'm just gonna increase that wonderful kick frequency, which is about 60 hertz. And I'm going to try this thing over here. Hopefully it's going to work out nicely. Because I'm on the SSL 9000 series, my Q is a lot larger. My mid Qs and all my Qs basically, because this is how the console was constructed. So what I want to do right now is just to cut some of this mud over here, this mid at about 300 something. Let's see how that works out for us. Before. Now, because I don't really want it to take that much out of it, I'm just going to try to shape this thing and to draw it into a way that it doesn't cut my whole spectrum. Perfect. And now let's boost a bit more of that 60 hertz gain. So now we should have a bit more impact. Now this here is without it. This is with it. Without. Now the difference is not really substantial and you're not really gonna hear it very much, but you need to have that thing over there for more impact for a chorus. So the last thing that I'm gonna do over here is just add a bit of top end over here. It's around 5.5 kilohertz. Maybe I'll actually go lower than this. I don't know how precise this thing is. Right, so this is the real 5 kilohertz. And I'm not gonna add more than one maybe. So this is without it. With it. And that's grand. Now, moving on to the snare. Now, the only thing that I really want to do over here on the snare, just boost a tiny bit of that low end to cut some of the frequencies that I don't need so I can shape the EQ properly over here. And this is more or less it. This is the low hit, basically. It's the area over here is the area where the low hit happens, right? So let's see what we've achieved. Now, I'm going to try to get this to stay more in the frequencies that I want and to bypass the frequencies that I don't want. Again. The smack is good. That's all I need to do on this one. Next coming in are the claps. I don't feel like I need to do anything on this. So I'm just going to leave it like this for the moment. Next, the percussion, the high percussion. I'm not going to need the low end of that percussion because it's going to mess up my mix over here. So just cut some of that low end. And I'm just going to raise the volume a tiny bit. Let me listen to this thing in solo over here. Let me see if it has too much high frequencies. It looks like it on the spectrum, but I can't hear it alone, so. Yeah, I'm gonna cut some of the highs on this one. Down to about 16 kilohertz should be fine. Let's bring the other drums in. So now our chorus does have some type of impact. More punch than the other stuff. So again, let's listen to the impact sample with it. So you get that massive, massive impact thing. And let's listen to the whole chorus coming in from a bit of the verse. And let's listen to how the sweep gets everything in. Wonderful. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to my drums, my drum group, and I'm going to insert the SSL X comp. And just do my normal drum bus processing, which is a compression with ratio of 2, soft knee on it. I need the release to be 100 milliseconds. I need the attack to be 30 milliseconds, like on the SSL compressor. I do not want it to react too much to my bass frequencies, so everything under about 90 hertz. I don't want the compressor to react to it that much, so I'm just going to leave the amount over here at about 50%. I do need it a bit compressed, but I don't want it to suck up my whole mix. Right? So let's dial in this compressor over here. And that's fine. So the next thing that I want to do over here is just see if I can EQ this little bit over here. I'm going to switch you guys to the on-screen display. So this is my Vice, the Vice module of console 1. And I'm going to try to see if there's any bad frequencies that I will not want later on this track. Clearly, this is one of them. So basically what I want from this drum is to be kind of creamy. I'm not really a fan of metal drums on a pop song or anything like that, so I don't want that much harshness. Now, I saw that there was some type of stuff going on over here, which I didn't like. So let's go. Not really keen on this one either. So that was me raising almost 5 kilohertz. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit for more impact. Again, I'm gonna look at the compressor. And I don't really like what I'm seeing over here. It seems to be going too much. So the best thing that I want to do over here is on the console 1 on screen display, I want to lower the gain a tiny bit so that whenever it goes into this compressor over here, it doesn't overload. Now, I do want to raise just a tiny bit of that 60 hertz frequency. Remember, that is my favorite frequency, basically. So just a tiny bit over here, just a decibel or so. So it looks good on the spectrum meter as well. Grand. So, gonna turn you guys to the bass. Now, this here is my bass guitar. Again, this was pre-processed a tiny bit with the with my Warm Audio LA2A clone. And let me put this in solo. It's gonna sound like this. I do realize this is not exactly the best bass tone that I could come up with, but it was tracked live on a friend's Yamaha bass that I have over here in the studio, so we used whatever we had at that time. Now, let's start processing this thing. Gonna switch you guys to console 1, and I do want kind of like a 40 hertz low cut. And then I'm gonna mess with the mud that it has at about 200 hertz over here. And I'll try to raise back some of the stuff that goes in there and see how I can get it to work. Basically in console 1 it's like in the 9000 console it's like drawing. So let's see what's happening here. Before EQ. After EQ. So the bass is nice now, but it is a bit dull. So I'm gonna use a compressor on this, which I'm not entirely sure exactly which one I'm gonna use. Let's put a ratio of 2 and let's see how this one works on slow. So what I wanted from this bass with the slow attack is to raise a tiny bit more transient content. The bass is already very mellow, so I wanted to have just a bit of transient content over there. So I've put the ratio at 2, and the slow attack and a release of 0.5 seconds. So the first thing that I'm gonna continue doing right now is get the drums in. Let me switch you guys to the mixer view. I'm gonna get the drums in, and I'm gonna try to get the bass over here in context with the drums, so I can have a nice crest factor at the end of the balance. I'm liking the bass over here, but I just feel like I want it to do something a bit more for me. So the first thing that I'm going to do is use Soothe to clear up that mud that we mostly have on the bass. So it's nice like this, but I lost some of that low end content. So what I'm trying to do, what I'm probably going to try to do right now, is open oversteer. Let's see if we can get some of that content back in. So I'm activating the MAS circuit. The bass distortion algorithm works nice. Now let's listen to this thing alone and let's see if we can mess with it a bit. You can hear that low end coming back in. Now let's again try to balance it with the drums. So this was before. And this is after. So I've done my drums and my bass over here for the chorus. Let's see how they sound like on the verse. Excuse me. That sounds fine to me. Up until this moment, it sounds exactly what I want it to sound like. Let me see if the output is enough to drive the oversteer on the mix bus enough. So we're probably gonna need just a tiny bit more output over here from these ones. So I'm just gonna link them actually and give them just one more decibel. Maybe a bit more. So what I'm liking right now about the whole thing is that it's nice and punchy. Next, we're gonna start moving in to our main instruments. And basically, what I'm gonna do to balance these things is first I'm gonna actually balance the vocals. So I can have a bit more control over everything. So this is Navi's vocal on the chorus. This is mine.
We found the heart way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Run to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the heart way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
So now I'm gonna take Navi's vocal. Actually, we're gonna take the drums as a reference more over here, and I'm gonna go to verse 2, I think. Yes or no. I'm trying to find the reference over here so I can start adding on top. Yeah. So I'm not gonna go on the vocals, I'm gonna go with something else. I need to start balancing the rest of the mix, and I'm gonna try to follow the drums and the bass as much as possible. So just let me unlink these. Let's see what we have over here. So we have the verse pad. It's the first thing that I'm trying to balance. Massive pad. So it's a very nice pad, but it needs some attention. So I'm just gonna go into console 1 and start EQing it. It's a very nice stereo pad, but I don't want it to interfere with my bass, so let's listen to both of them in context. Now I need to cut a bit from 200 hertz. Or just a couple of decibels. It's all right at the moment. And I'm gonna bring in the verbi arpeggio, which is this one. Gonna do the same thing over here, just do the low cut. Minus 200 hertz. A bit more on the verse pad, just cutting a bit more. Now I'm liking the verb pad, but it's gonna muddy up the mix. So for this, I'm gonna use soothe, but before I do it, I think I'm gonna compress it and then use soothe. So what I want for this thing is Summit Audio. Again, it's a leveler compressor. I want it to release slowly, and I'm not looking to compress too much out of it, but I'm looking to compress some of it. So check this out. This is before. And this is after. Before. It brings up the nice harmonics over there. So I've set the attack on slow and the release on slow. The reason why the release is slow is because the pad is has a lot of sustain, and the reason why I'm attacking slowly is because when I've attacked medium, it just came a bit too much in front, and I did not want that, and I usually don't want that from a pad. So it doesn't have a lot of transient, so I'm not worried that it's gonna punch or anything. So I've just put the release on slow, the attack on slow, so it can go a bit more in the background. Now we're gonna do soothe over here, so we can get rid of some of the annoying harmonics that we have in this one. So I'm gonna flat start this thing, and I'm gonna look for bad harmonics. I already suspect it's in this area, but we're gonna find out. So this is what I was looking for. And let's enable this. Let's listen to the result. So this is before. There's a second frequency that's bothering us, and that's at around 1 kilohertz or around here somewhere. So this one here. Now this is before. So what we just did is we flattened the thing a bit. So let's put the bass on. Before. Let's see if I can do MS processing actually. That sounds a bit better like this. So here's the mixer view. He's soothed. This is what I took out. This stuff and this. This is before. So it's better. Now the verse pad comes back in. Let's see how this sounds like. I can hear the ocean with this one, I swear. And I do not live by the seaside in Bucharest. There's no ocean, there's no sea. I've got to, like, it's 2.5 hour drive to get there. And the drums in. Come on. So this is kind of what I wanted from it. Now, the distant voices thing. Now, the distant voices is basically more or less our main pad or our theme pad in the whole thing. So we want to be very careful with this one because we don't want to, you know, put it too much in the background, not too much in front. We just need it to be there in a nice way. So distant voices is this one. Now, this is a song hook. So we have to watch out exactly if we're processing it and what we're doing with it. So again, let's have everybody in. Verbi, arpeggio, and verse pad. This is looking good. Maybe a bit on the high end side, but I'm not really bothered by it at the moment. So let's see what else we have over here. So in this section, we do not have anything, but now we can go to the intro because we already have kind of a figure of what it's going to be like. And we can listen to how the whole thing sounds like. And we have the intro pad over here, which is this one. So that pad over there and distant voices, they're alone on the intros. So I need to balance my intro pad with distant voices. So Sorry, let me select distant voices first if I want to balance with it. So I need to balance this pad over here with distant voices so that it goes in very smoothly. Let me show you guys on the track view. This is the intro, and it needs to go into this. So I'm gonna have this on. I'm gonna have the verby arpeggio on, because this is when Navi starts singing. So I need a very smooth way of getting in. On this song, volumes are very, very, very important. Now, let's see what this thing has to offer us. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut some of the low end over here. I needed to have some low end, but not that much. Grand. Switching you guys to the on-screen display to see the EQ moves that are happening here. And the compression that I need to use on it. Just gonna raise the volume a bit. Now, this is fine at the moment. It's a bit too punchy for me, but we'll see exactly what and where it's actually going to go from here. So, next up on the line is we're going to get to the pre-chorus. So, we are here. Now, we have some acoustic guitars coming in over here, which are these ones. And it's this acoustic guitar right here, this channel. And let me show you guys the whole thing. You're gonna see it on the upper left hand side. You're gonna see how I'm actually going to do a low cut, not to distant voices. Where is that guitar? Sorry, it's just over here actually. And then the chorus comes in over there. So I'm liking the low cut over here. I have this feeling that I'm not going to be able to do too much with the EQ that I have, but let's cancel that shit. Now let's see which shape we have, because we have the overstay and the shape thing. So that will give us some saturation. Where is the overstay? MS, emphasis. Type classic, low pre, bass distortion, classic. So I want the classic. And I have no idea. I've never used overstay in this part of the console, so it's going to be on the left side. Let's see how it does. Let's increase the input volume over here, but see what that overstay is doing there. I want it to saturate a bit and to gather everything. Uh-huh. Nice. So let's listen to mix the guitar without the overstay. It's nice, but it feels uncompressed. A bit more low cut. Yeah, I don't like what it's doing on this, so I'm gonna use the overstay anyway in the Cubase mixer view. I'm gonna use the overstay as a plugin over here, as my last plugin. And then, before I go into the overstay, I need to do just a bit of EQing and some cutting frequencies and stuff. So I don't need 200 hertz. Just gonna cut up to 10 kilohertz on the top end over here. That seems more gathered now. Grand. So what we're gonna do right now is use a bit of soothe to tame some of that mid-range over there. We don't want it to be like the guitar is. I just want to hear the picks more or less. Rezo guitar. What is this? No, not over. No, medium strum acoustic is probably going to be a good preset. Let's listen to this. So before actually going into the oversteer, I just want to use refinement as well from Brainworks to get some of that harshness out of it. It's starting to sound a bit more natural right now. I'm just gonna put a bit of presence into it. Now it sounds fine. Again, this is a track that I've used the bus compressor on it to and just rendered in place. So that was before EQing and everything. So I'm gonna use a bit of compression, but this time I'm actually gonna use an LA2A type of compressor, which is the, I'll show you guys the on-screen display, which is the TLA100. Why am I searching for EQs? I'm searching for compression. So the TLA100A, medium attack, medium release. Let's see what it does. Now this is good. I don't want too many harmonics. It just feels like it's strumming it. It feels natural as well. Mixer view, main view. Let's use tiny bit more presence. Now, let me see if those squeaks are tameable. I'm not gonna go into our Isotope RX or anything like that to do that, but and I'm gonna use that before even console 1, I think. And I'm gonna use the E2 deesser from Slate's Slate's Everything bundle, basically it's what it's called. So I do need squeak smoothing. Let's see if it works. What I don't really like is that it's reacting to something else than the squeaks. So we're gonna have squeaks. Fuck it. What it was doing is it was reacting to the high frequencies, the high strings that I'm doing over there at the end of the parts. So I did not want that because it was compressing and it acted like a deesser. I didn't want that. I just wanted the squeaks out and or tamed. Sorry, not out, and just a bit. So MAS in. Okay, so let's put it now in context and let's see if it's cutting through with the drums and the bass. Now, do remember, I don't want it too much. I just wanted to emphasize that thing over there, the pre-chorus. So let's try with dual mode engaged. Without it, it has just a tiny bit more presence. So that was cool over there. So we settled our acoustic guitar. Right now, let me show you guys how it sounded before. Which is nice, but too soft. Might have a bit too much saturation, but I don't really care, or I don't really care at this point. So I'm gonna listen to the whole context of this part, which is with the intro pad and everything, and chorus pad I'm not there yet. Distant voices on, and yes, let's listen to this. I've just raised a tiny bit of the high end of those guitars over there. I'm not gonna know the exact level until I actually have Navi's voice mixed and into this place. What else do we have here? So I think we're gonna go to the chorus right now. Yep, we are down to the chorus. And we're gonna have this chorus pad over here to work with before anything else. Which obviously has too much low end. Now, this is going to be a chorus in which I'm going to have drive guitars, so these ones. Now, what we don't want in a chorus like this is to have them interacting too much, as in overlapping. So, soothe number 2. Before I'm going to do the soothe thing, I want to compress it first. So it's a pad, and I think the guitars are going to be over on the side, so I need this one over here to hold my middle. Even though it's stereo, it's still going to hold my middle a bit. So I'm going to medium attack, medium release with the TLA 100A. Let me show you guys the compressor over here. Before, after. So I pushed it a bit more into the compressor. I think I've pushed about 5 decibels or so. I want it to be a bit more compressed so I can have those guitars come in properly, these ones. Now these guitars are nice, but I need space for them. So the way I'm gonna make space for them is, let me show you guys the main thing. The way I'm gonna make space for this is by working with Soothe. So let me see if I have anything for keys actually, or piano, but keys more. Electric guitar, orchestral, songwriting, production. D-res low, CPU before you bounce. Nope. Sound design. No. Synth. Well, not exactly. Maybe the piano. Full range piano inside. No. So I'm just gonna start with a flat start over here. I'm gonna look for the frequencies that I don't want inside this because the guitar is gonna use them. So we're gonna chop the shit out of it, and we're gonna get low release. Before it was this. Now it has bass, it's nice, and it sounds nice in alone, but not in context because it's gonna overlap with the bass and with the guitars. So we don't want that. Before, after. And there's gonna be more than enough harshness going on over here, so I'm just gonna try to more than enough grit going on over here. I'm gonna try to take just some of the top end off of it. Now, this was before we started processing. Which is very nice, and it sounds very nice on its own, but not together with everything else. And we have this, so we did a bit of sound design into this one. Now, let's see the guitars coming in. See, the guitars are nice and powerful right now, otherwise, before, they were like this. And there's a lot of mud. So we calmed that thing down. Let's see bass coming in as well. Let's skip the guitar for now. Again, before processing, overlapping a lot. It's exactly what we need from it. Now the guitar comes in. And it sounds better in context, right? So, there's the intro pad that comes in as well. Jesus, there's a lot of pads into this production. So, as you're noticing, the intro pad is taking the high end, which is exactly what it needs to do. That's why I cut so much out of that pad over there. The chorus pad, because I don't really need the high end of it. Navi, you're having flashbacks from when we were originally working. Yes, I am too. Grand. So, the drive guitar is what I need to work on at this point. So it's not a metal song, it's a pop song, pop rock song. So it has some drive, but I don't want to make it too much. So I'm just gonna cut everything under about 100 hertz, more or less. 80 hertz in console 1. I do not need that low end of the guitar over there. A bit of compression coming in. I think I'm just gonna use the SSL 4000 compressor for this one. And I want a 25 millisecond attack with a 0.5 release for guitars usually, especially drive guitars. Before. So now it's all fine and calm. What I want from here, from this moment on, is Brainworks refinement to tame some of that harshness. Nice. Now do remember, guys, on this part, I want grit, because it's a pop song. I want grit. I don't necessarily want to have any metal guitar tone, especially a distorted metal guitar tone. So I'm on the EQ, just raising a tiny bit of about 9 kilohertz. Have a bit of attack. And now the context with the drums and the bass. Let's bring the keys in. So the intro pad, and let's leave the chorus pad as well. And distant voices. I think I've overdriven those guitars with the volume. Now I do have my lead guitar over here as well, which is going to be the one giving the theme to the chorus. Right, so let's work on this one a bit. Low cut. High cut at about 10 kilohertz. Pardon me. Okay, so let's bring everything in excepting the vocals. I think, oh no, we've got the clarinets over here and the violins. So we didn't work on them because they're going to be later on in the mix. They're coming in at part C. So we don't want to work on them right now. What we do want is to make sure we have a nice balance over here for the vocals to come in. So I'm just going to listen to the whole thing without the vocals and the ad-libs and the backing vocals, without the vocals basically. I'm gonna listen to the whole thing from start till the end of this chorus here. I need to see the balances. I'm liking it. Right now, I'm actually liking it. It's not excessive. It's powerful at the chorus, powerful enough for the moment. And I don't really feel like I'm gonna change this much, that much, or on the balancing or anything once the voices come in, but we shall find out. So we have over here, we're already 1 hour and 35 minutes into our mix. So at part C, we have the verse pad, and then we have the verbi arpeggio, and then we have the arcade violins. So what we want to do is we're going to take those two as references because we already did the volumes on them. Let me switch you guys to the main view. Actually, let me switch you guys to the track view. So these are the ones that are going to be referenced by these. And then the bass is coming in over at this part as well. So let's see what we're going to do with the volume on this one. Ah, these are the lovely violins. So just imagine violins feeding back. I love these things. Switch you guys to the main view over here so you can see what I'm doing in console 1 as well. They're just so nice. So I'm cutting about 16 kilohertz from the upper side. I've cut about 150, not exactly what console 1 is showing me over there, but 150, 160 from the low end. And some of the mud coming in. Let's see how they sound like in context. I don't know if I'm actually going to compress these things, but I'm going to find out in a second. Yeah, they need a tiny bit of compression, which, again, it's an acoustic instrument, so I'm going to use, not the equalizer, sorry again. I'm going to select the compressor. The TLA 100 is what I want. So I'm going to have a medium attack, slow release, just a tiny bit of compression over here because they're long. Now, there's a few high-end frequencies which we do need to address on this one, unfortunately. So, soothe number 2. And I think those frequencies are scratchy, so I'm looking at about 8 kilohertz or so. So this is more or less what I don't want in it. Now, because it's an acoustic instrument, I'm not gonna just leave this part over here alone. So I'm gonna let it take a bit from that as well. This is my main culprit though. Before. There's a nice filter going on over there. I don't know if I like it that much though. Right. Let's see if we raise a bit of the top end. Let's hear the context. Sounding better, but I'm not exactly sure about it. Refinement is where I go when I don't know what to do. Let's hear if this thing is actually capable of helping us. Oh, it's very capable. So all of that is going away because we don't need it. Let's see if we boost a bit of the presence. So I'm not gonna boost the presence because basically I'm inviting those frequencies back in. I don't want that. This is without it. Actually, this is without processing. Hear how noisy it is on the top end, and this is with processing. I just have these nice violins there. Not very present, I don't need them to be very present, but they're just hugging my sound. Now we're down to the hardest part, and the one that everybody over here at Tournamix struggled with. The vocals. Now the vocals were recorded with a Neumann U87 going into a basically a 1073 preamp, and going from there into my RME Fireface. Now, again, as I told you guys at the beginning of the mix, what I did over here is I did go with these vocals, with all the vocal tracks. I went through my lead vocal tracks, sorry, and the ad-libs. I went through my Warm Audio LA2A clone. So what I'm actually going to do right now is I'm going to try to check out those frequencies that you guys didn't like. The distorted frequencies, the distorting frequencies. Now, I know this mic saturates a bit, and you know, like, I like clean mics as well. This, for example, is a very clean mic, and it has a lot of SPL. It supports a lot of SPL. It can take it. The 1073 cannot. It's 117 max SPL. Now, I don't know if I reached maximum SPL over there, but that capsule certainly distorted on me quite a few times. So let's see what I can do over here. I'm going to start with my voice, and then I'm going to work on Navi's voice as well. Let's see what can happen over here. So I'm going to switch you guys to the console one, on-screen display. So let's solo these things.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
So that's decent. I'm not hearing that much distortion on it. I was expecting a lot more than that, I'll tell you that. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Oh, it sounds good. What I don't want from this take, and I'm actually going to put this in front of console 1, is I don't want to have the it's because of the 1073 and the Neve preamp. They're friends, but they kind of do the same thing. So right now it sounds like I'm doing this. I don't want that. So I'm going to push over here. I'm going to show you guys in the mixer. I'm going to push a drummer, multi-band EQ, multi-band compressor. And let's see if we can do some sort of compression on that middle side, because we want it to sparkle. It's a pop song. I don't want too much mid from the voice, but I do want some kind of scoop on it. So I'm just gonna bypass these two bands over here because I don't need them. Actually, I'm gonna mute these two bands so I can know exactly what I'm selecting over here. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the heart, and we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape. So this is what I don't want. What I want compressed, right? Gonna give this thing a medium release. Gonna attack it with about, how much do we have over here? 10, 20, yeah, just gonna use the 10 thing. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Now let's see if we attacked it well enough. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied
This is before.
till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. And it's nice. What we want over here from our console 1 compressor is just a tiny bit of leveling of everything. I don't see a big problem in this. I don't know why people complain that much about it. So let's do it. What compressor am I going to use right now? So I'm definitely not going to use the FET compressor because it's very aggressive. Not for this type of song, at least. The Summit Audio always is a good match. And I just want a bit of leveling now. I don't want more than 1.5, maybe 2 decibels of leveling. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Right. So I don't need more than this. Now I'm gonna use a device de-esser, and I'm just gonna de-ess the top over here. So I'm looking for vocals soft. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Not too much. We ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just the fuck. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweet. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Grand. Now, all I need to do is basically just add a tiny bit of top end at around 3 kilohertz, or 3.5 actually. Where is it? Console 1 is lagging for the first time. Found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Right, let me reset console 1. Quit. And it was basically lagging, and it happens with all software. That's why I want a real console. But at the moment, I really don't have the cash for a real console, so I'm gonna have to make do with whatever I have here. Found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Grand. Context. Found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Just a bit more low end over here, so I'm gonna use the gain on this compressor. Found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. There you go, guys. It wasn't that hard. Yes, there's a bit of distortion, but it's the characteristic of the Neumann U87. Now, moving on to Navi's voice.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
Let's hear them together.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Actually, I need just a bit less cut over there in the lows. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. Nice. So Navi's voice. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and la till we came undone. Let's do the same trick with the multi-band compressor, the drummer. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Let's do the de-essing as well. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
Nice. And we're going to use the same compressor over here, the TLA 100. And we're going to take just a tiny bit.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone.
We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
I don't see the big problem you guys had. I thought it's gonna be more serious than this when you guys were telling me.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone.
We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
Nope.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone.
We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
And they can sound well. So, just gonna save this session over here to make sure nothing crashes. And let's see here on Navi's voice. Let's use a bit of soothe over there to tame some of a bit of the harshness that you can find on any vocal over there in the top end. So I think it's the de-honk thing. No, it's not the de-honk thing. It's too much. The harsh vocal start.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a we found the hard way how a good heart break. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest
Escape is just a fucking mistake.
There goes Navi's distortion.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we...
Let's find mine.
Mistake. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
Okay.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
So the chorus vocals are grand at the moment. I like them. I don't hate them. Good. So moving on. Gonna look at Navi's verse vocal.
It was crowded in this town. I need
Now let's see if the same preset applies here.
It was crowded in this town. I needed to escape somehow. The golden cage that I had built was firmly pressed. It was crowded down. I needed to escape somehow. The golden that I had built was firmly pressed against my skin.
There's a low vocal here. So what I want to do on the low vocal is I want to pull just a bit more off of this.
It was crowded in this town. I needed to escape somehow. The golden cage that I had built was firmly pressed against my skin. I needed. It was crowded in this town. I needed to escape somehow. The golden cage that I had built was firmly pressed against my skin. It was crowded in this town. It was crowded.
There's another frequency here bothering me. Mm-hmm.
It was crowded in this town. I needed to escape. The golden cage that I had built was firmly pressed against my skin. I needed to leave behind the lies and find my light in the red eyes. To make the days on moon floors, forget the world outside these walls. It was crowded in this town. I needed to escape somehow. The golden cage that I had built was firmly pressed against my skin. I needed to leave behind the lies and find my light in the red eyes. To make the days on moon floors, forget the world outside these walls. It was crowded in this town. I needed to escape somehow. The golden cage that I had built was firmly pressed against my skin. I needed to leave behind the lies and find my light in the red eye.
That's not bad.
Run to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the heart with how a good heart breaks, and now the speed's the stage. It's just a fucking mistake.
So it's consistent.
I needed to escape somehow. The goal to leave behind the lies and find my light in the red eyes. To make the days on moon floors, forget the world outside. To leave behind the lies and find my light in the red eyes. To make the days on moon floors, forget the world outside these walls.
Good. So we've done that. Now, let's move on to the second vocal over here, which is mine. Now I want to do the same trick with the drummer because I want to keep the tone of the thing, even though I'm not distorting over here, clearly. So I'm going to just copy these two.
Was it all for nothing? It must count for something. It was a nightmare in the end.
Grand.
Was it all for nothing? It must count something. Was it all for nothing?
I don't even know if I need to do anything more than that.
Was it all for nothing? Must count for something.
something that I don't like over here on something.
Was it all for nothing? It must count. Was it all for nothing? It must count for something. It was a nightmare. Was it all for nothing? It must count for something. It was a nightmare in the end. Was it all for nothing? Must count for something. It was a nightmare in the end. Was it all for nothing? Must count for something. It was a nightmare in the end.
This.
Was it all for nothing? It must count for something. It was a nightmare in the end, but it's the best dream I've ever had. Was it
Those forget the world outside these walls.
Was it all for nothing? It must count for something. It was a nightmare in the end, for something. Count for something. It
Do I hate that or do I not hate that?
count for something. Count.
Yeah, it looks like this thing.
Count for something. It count for something. It was a nightmare in the end. Count for something. Count for something. It was a nightmare in the end.
It's just that little bit of boxiness over there.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we till we came
undone. We found the heart with
how a good heart breaks, and now
the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
Just a bit more top end over here.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we till we came undone. We found the heart with how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Was it all for nothing? Must count for something. It was it all for nothing? Must count for something. It was a nightmare. There was no air inside my room. The sound of silence was me too. I waited and wait for answers still. Were you lost, girl, seeking thrills? You fed me honey with your words, the sweetest thing I've ever heard. And I'm not one to be fooled easily. This time I wanted to believe.
Right, so this is with these two. I'm probably gonna work on the volumes a bit more, but on the event, not from here. If I don't need to, I just want to balance between them. Now let's listen to the bridge.
I can still hear the violins in my head the night we kiss. I'll make music from the silences to let you know that you are next.
I can still hear the promises. I'll never hurt you like the others did. I was just looking for my last one, but all I seem to find is a lost one. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way, how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape.
This is good now, but this chorus, the vocals are just a bit loud.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way, how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest. I'll never hurt you like the others did. I was just looking for my last one. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone.
Right, so we're done with the vocals. We're on our second hour of mixing. This is the third hour actually coming up. So what we have here is our backing vocals. So this is my backing vocal. And we're just going to try to blend that in with the rest of the stuff. So this is the main vocal. These are the backing vocals.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way, how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
Grand. So check it out on the console one up there. Not the shape. Jesus. I need to low cut these backing vocals here.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way, how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way, how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way, how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
So the idea here is to do a bit of a pocket over here. Let me show you just the console 1 EQ. I want to do that pocket over there in the middle, so I can have enough space for my main vocals. So I want it to help the main vocals. I don't want it to overlap the main vocals. Anyway, let's get back here. Oh no, actually let's stay on console 1 because I'm gonna do compression right now. And I'm gonna go for the TLA 100 as usual. Medium.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way, how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
It's good. For the yeser.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way, how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
Now Navi's backing vocal blended with these ones.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone.
Again, low cut.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way, how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
On this one, we're gonna need to cut some of that 400 hertz frequency more than anything else. Let's go down there and just raise a bit of that.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest.
Compression.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
Now let's listen to it in context with the whole thing. So these are my backing vocals here, the group.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
It's nice. What I want to do over here on the chorus, just because all of a sudden I have the vocals, I'm just gonna raise the guitars just a tiny bit.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
Now I have a better, much more consistent sound to it. So ad-lib Navi first. Now I have this feeling that I'm just gonna use her verse preset over here. So the drummer compressing the mids, console 1's EQ. So let me just show you guys what I'm doing here. So this is the drummer from there, console 1, the EQ. You can see it up there, and the compressor. I don't even know if I'm gonna need Soothe. This is gonna have a lot of reverb. It needs to stay back, so let's listen to it. Would you please let me hear the ad-libs? Thank you.
Oh, we ran, yeah, we lied. Oh, we ran, yeah, we lied. Oh, we ran, yeah.
So this is gonna stay in the back. Not sure about the volume at this point. But it's more or less gonna be this. Now let me see my ad-lib. Let's see if it sounds good on all her other stuff.
I'll never hurt you like the other step. I was just looking for my last one, but all I seem to.
Now this is where we have a tiny problem, because I'm probably gonna move this ad-lib here. I'm gonna move it to her main voice and see how that sounds like.
The promises I'll never hurt you like the others.
And it's very loud.
The promises I'll never hurt you like the others did. I was just looking for my last one. The promises I'll never hurt you like the others did. I was just looking.
Let me see if I can actually do something interesting here. So I'm going to show you guys the track view. If we can sync them perfectly.
I'll never hurt you like the.
Let's see if this helps. So this is the alignment thing from Cubase. Just gonna to that. So this is your reference, sir. And this is the track that I want you to help me with. Let's see if it's gonna help.
'Cause I'll never hurt you like the others did. I was just 'cause I'll never hurt you like the.
No, it did not.
'Cause I'll never hurt you like the. 'Cause I'll never hurt you like the others did. I was.
No. So what I'm gonna do over here is I'm gonna put it back up there with the rest of the ad-libs, because I want it to be very reverberated.
'Cause I'll never hurt you like the others did. I was just 'Cause I'll never hurt you like the others did. I was
Just a bit lower than this.
'Cause I'll never hurt you like the others did. 'Cause I'll never hurt you like the others did. I was
So I really don't want this part to pop up. This ad-lib over here is gonna be nice, because the context here is this. Well, just maybe a bit lower, maybe -1 over here. But on this part, it's quiet. And I want this not to... This is more or less a backing vocal.
promises I'll never hurt you like the others did. I was promises I'll never hurt you like the others did. I was promises I'll never hurt you like the others did.
Let's see.
I can still hear the promises I'll never hurt you like the others did. I was just looking for my last one,
This is Rand.
but all I seem to find is a lost one. And we ran to run, we light again.
Now, this is that part where it's gonna get very annoying for me. If there's a part that's supposed to distort, this is probably gonna be it. So, let's get to the main thing.
Yeah, we run, yeah. Oh, we light again.
Now, I do hear a bit of distortion, and I know where I'm hearing it.
Yeah, we run.
So I'm gonna use Soothe number 2 here,
Yeah, we run.
and I'm gonna show you guys where that distortion is coming from.
Yeah. Yeah, we run. Yeah.
Oh, it's the same thing. So,
Yeah, we run, yeah. Oh, we light again. Is this the hard way? Yeah, we run, yeah.
let's hear it in context.
We found the hard way out of the hard race, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Fucking mistake. Fucking mistake.
So this is where probably these vocals are gonna come up a bit louder. So I've got -3.5 on the ad-libs here. Let's see -2.5. No, -3 is enough.
La la
So, before I do anything at this point, what I want to do is save my project and listen to the song from the beginning till the end before I start using effects like reverb and shit like that. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because if there are levels that need to be adjusted and worked on, this is the best way I can do it.
It was crowded in this town. I needed to escape somehow. The golden cage that I had built was firmly pressed against my skin. I needed to leave behind the lies and find my light in shimmering eyes. To label days on wooden floors, forget the world outside these walls.
Was it all for nothing? Must count for something. It was a nightmare in the end, but it's the best dream I've ever had. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way, how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. There's no air inside my room. The sound of silence kills me too. I wait and wait for answers still. Were you lost, girl, seeking thrills? You fed me honey with your words, the sweetest thing I've ever heard. And I'm not one to be fooled easily. This time I wanted to believe.
I held on to my strength till you held my hand and said it was a nightmare in the end, but it's the best we've ever had.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way, how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
Oh, we ride, yeah, we ride. I can still hear the violence in my head the night we kissed. I'll make music from the silences to let you know that you are missed.
I can still hear the promises. I'll never hurt you like the others did. I was just looking for my last one, but all I seem to find is a lost one. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way, how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Fucking mistake. A fucking mistake. Fucking mistake. The sweetest escape.
So this is what we have at the moment. I'm just gonna check over here if everything's right here.
There's no air inside my room. The sound of silence kills me too. There's no air inside my room. The sound of silence kills me too.
That silence thing.
The sound of silence kills me too.
No, it's alright. Grand, so from this point on, we're gonna start messing with everything, which means the vocals. We're gonna put them in focus right now. We're gonna adjust the volumes so everything sounds fine on them, and then we shall start working on everything else with the effects and with reverbs and all of that. So the first thing that I want to do is add a send over here, and I'm gonna send the main vocals, which you guys are not actually seeing this because it's too close to the camera. So I'm just gonna disable the camera for a second. So I'm gonna add over here an FX track to the selected channels, and I'm gonna use microshift, which is Soundtoys' little microshift. Create an inside folder, and I'm just gonna name this wider. Now the reason why I do this is so I can put the vocals in focus. Sends, yes. And I want my send to go into my mix bus. Now standard is -16. And now I have a microshift, which means it's more, it doubles the voice in stereo. So basically one here, one there. On the main vocals, they're gonna pretty much sound a bit louder. So this is why I wanted to mess with the volumes now. But then they're gonna be in focus. So let's try this thing.
It was crowded in this town. I needed
See how disconnected it seems right now?
somehow. The golden cage that I had built was firmly pressed against my skin. I needed to leave behind the lies and find my light in shimmering eyes, to make the days on wooden floors forget the world outside these walls.
Was it all for nothing? Must count for something. It was a nightmare in the end, but it's the best dream I've ever had.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone.
We found the heart with how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
Grand. I like it. Don't know if I'm probably gonna do this with the ad-libs as well. Yes, I'm gonna do this with the ad-libs and see how it puts them in focus and lower the volumes.
I'll never hurt you like the understand. I was just looking for.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone.
We found the heart with how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
Lovely. I got to say, it's turning out to be good. And no, it's not because it's my song. It's just because I'm actually not exactly fully content, but I'm pretty content with what's happening. So, next thing we do is we're gonna start using the plates for the vocals. Actually, I'm actually gonna start by putting all of the mix into a room. So I'm just linking the channels right now. I'm gonna add an FX send to all of these, which is gonna be my flex verb from SSL native. Now I want them to go into my mix. It's called the room, and that's gonna be it. So before I even attempt to do anything, I'm gonna pull out a calculator here, and I'm gonna calculate my decay time. So 60,000 divided by our tempo, which is 65, and it equals 923. 923 is gonna be our room reverb. No, not 9 seconds. 0.923. This always happens. I'm gonna do a low cut over here at about 200 hertz, more or less. I don't want the mud over there coming in. And I'm gonna do a high cut here at about 10 kilohertz. Not this narrow though, kind of like this. So now there's this thing where you guys cannot hear exactly what's happening here. Let me just add it to all of these. I don't know exactly why I didn't add it to all of it. It was supposed to add this room reverb to all my buses. Link. Right, -20 is my standard for room reverb. So what I'm gonna do right now, again without the camera because you guys won't be able to see it, I'm gonna listen just for the reverb. Now this is a thing where you guys cannot know exactly what I'm doing, so I'm just, for your information, I'm just listening to the reverb over here, just the send of the reverb. You guys are gonna hear the whole mix with it while I'm doing this. So I just want to notch a couple of frequencies that I don't usually like in my room. So here we go.
Was it all for nothing? Must count for something. It was a nightmare in the end, but it's the best dream I've ever had.
Now this is a frequency that I don't want reverberated. So -3 point something should be enough. And the second frequency is over here at about 2 kilohertz, where the harshness comes in. We want to tame that even in the reverb.
Was it all for
Ran to the beat of the drum and we la till we came undone. We found the halfway, how a good heart breaks, and now we ran to the beat of the drum and we la.
Yeah, this is where the boxiness is coming from. So the last thing we want to do is to get our reverb to make our mix boxier. Not cool. So this is how it sounds like. I'm listening to it now for the first time without the thing.
Ran to the beat of the drum and we la till we came undone. We found the halfway, how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
inside my room? The sound of silence gives me to. I wait and wait for answers still.
There's still a few minor problems here and there, but I do like what's happening. So we'll just put the plates on right now. So I'm gonna add this FX tracks. Let me put the camera on because you don't need it anymore. So effect track. Now I'm looking for little plate. And just gonna write it as plate. Now, low cut over here at the plate. I think I'm gonna have the modulation on probably. Now guys, my decay time over here on the room was under a second, which is nice. But this is a pop song and it's very verby. So what I'm gonna do again is I'm going to divide it by 65 and times 2 this time. So 1846 more or less. Little plate does not have numbers here, so I'm just gonna approximate. But it's basically almost 1900. So It's kind of it here. Yeah. So the reason why I'm putting a bigger decay on this is because I want my vocals to be more verby, more spatial, more. It's a spacey type of song, so reverb is going to be a big part, and delays are going to be big parts of the way I thought about the song and the way it's going to be produced. So I'm just going to insert the plates over here and listen to them in solo first.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just the fucking mistake.
And we want these vocals to be as wide as you can imagine. Let's listen to it in context.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
So this is nice. For now, let's listen to the verses. And I'm gonna do the same thing over here. I'm just gonna link them. And I'm gonna add these plates. But I'm probably gonna want more reverb on this one, so let's hear.
It was crowded in this town. I needed to escape somehow. The golden cage that I had built was from me pride.
Was it all for nothing? Must count for something. It was a nightmare in the end, but it's the best dream I've ever had. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
Now there's 2 points to this thing. If I add too much plate and if I leave them as on the verse, the vocal is gonna be a bit more in the back. Now I can't really hear the final result right now, so I'm just gonna do a -19 or -20 actually, and stick with that until I get everything reverberated, so I don't I don't put the vocals too much in the back. I still want it's a chorus. I want some attack on it.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
Nice. Now, let's do. Let's see if I need anything for the backing vocals.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks.
Let's see if the plate helps them. What I usually tend to avoid to put plates on the backing vocals, for a single reason. I don't want them to be anywhere coming into the center, but we'll find out.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the and we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweet.
So it's not bad.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
Now, we are going towards the ad-libs.
Oh, we ran.
So I'm going to use some plates on these, of course. link first. And then I'm gonna use a lot more plate on these ones.
Oh, we ran, yeah, we lie.
This is more or less the sound that I'm looking for. Let's see how it sounds in context.
I can still hear the promises. I'll never hurt you like the others did. I was just looking for my last one, but all I seem to find is a lost one.
And
We ran to the beat of the drum. We la 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 till we came undone. We found the how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Fucking mistake. Yeah, we run, yeah.
now I want this to have some kind of low cut.
Yeah, we run, yeah. Oh, we lied and lied.
I don't want it to attack too much. I don't want it. It's supposed to be a background vocal anyway, even though it's the high one. I don't want it to interfere with the main vocals, basically.
We ran to the beat of the drum. We la 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 till we came undone. We found the heart, we how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. Fucking mistake.
Okay, so this is not bad yet. Now, where else do I need to reverberate? Oh yes, the acoustic guitars.
Was it all for nothing?
Now, these will use a bit of a plate, as any acoustic instruments. And I'm just gonna minus 18 over here and see and guess how it sounds like. Hopefully it puts it in the context of the same with the whole mix.
Was it all for nothing? Must count for something. It was a nightmare in the end, but it's the best dream I've ever had.
And we ran to the beat of the drum. We la 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 till we came undone.
We found the heart, we how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
Now, let's listen to that chorus again and try to balance some more on it.
Ran to the beat of the drum. We la 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 till we came undone.
We found the heart, we how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
Now, what I'm noticing right now is that I'm missing quite a lot of the bass. Now, this bass has it has a lot of low ends. Doesn't have too many mids, does it now? Let's see if we did anything with that. Now we want to pump it a bit more. Seems good. Now, what I'm just deciding right now to do, and especially for the choruses, is I'm probably going to double this bass over here. Create a duplicate. Let me show you guys the track view. So this is the bass. I'm going to duplicate this bass here. And what I want to do, after all of these plugins over here, I just want to add some distortion to it. So the way I'm going to do that is by using the TSC, which is the Tube Screamer. Let's do a bit of a tone on this one. Yes. Right, so the way I need to play my card on this one is by doing more of a low cut over here. Showing you guys console 1. This is the second bass, right? So I'm gonna blend it with the other one. So it gets the mids from this one. Now, let's listen to the context of the whole thing. So I'm just gonna use this bass over here only for the choruses. I don't really need it on the verses. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut at the choruses and leave it just at the choruses. Let me show you guys what I'm doing here. So this is my second bass. So I'm looking for the guitar drive thing. I want it to go with the guitar drive. Hopefully I'm not gonna mess this mix up because it's the only mix that actually matters because it's my own song, but we'll find out. So I'm just gonna do the fade ins and fade outs from here. Just a tiny bit. I don't want it to make any weird noises. To click basically. We don't want clicks. Now.
But it's the best dream I've ever had. And we ran to the beat of the drum and we la till we came undone. We found the halfway how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
So that thing just adds a tiny bit of grit to the whole thing, and you can actually understand what is happening with the bass. So again, it's Cubase, so we need to save all the time. Now this is grand here. Where were we at? Oh yeah, we were at effects. Let's see how many of you guys are still watching this. Only one person is still watching this. It does not matter. You guys are going to be able to watch it afterwards, whenever you wish. So next thing I want to do here is add delay. Now the best delay that I can find for this type of task is of course Valhalla delay, but I'm going to do the ad-libs before anything else. So I'm just going to add an FX track here. Actually not here, but just going to normal FX track and use Valhalla delay. And that's going to be ad-lib delay. Now, first off, I'm going to look on my vocal and ad-lib delay. What and where I wanted.
Yeah, we run. Yeah, we run, yeah.
No.
Yeah, we run, yeah.
No, why is it so late though? Just looking for nice presets over here. It's not bad actually.
Yeah, we run, yeah. Oh, we light and light again. Is this the hard way?
So what I'm looking for on this is to put the vocal, this ad-lib here, more in the back. Pitch, airy, vocal reverb.
Yeah, we run, yeah. Oh, we light and light again. Is this
A lot of lush.
yeah, we run, yeah.
No, this one finishes way too fast. So these two were modern. Smooth hole.
Yeah, we run, yeah. Oh, we light and light again. Is this the hard way?
Now, I like the delay time, but I want to make sure that it's where I want it to be. So 60,000 divided by 65 equals, yes, and divided by 2 equals what? 461.5. 461.5.
Yeah, we run, yeah. Oh, we light and
This is nice. Let's listen to it. I think we might need more. No. Let's listen to it without the main vocals. Not sure if this reverb is exactly what I need. This delay reverb-ish thing. Let's do the airy one.
Yeah, we run, yeah.
This one does not put my vocal anywhere. Tape lush. So we're back to that first one. I don't like the way it's sounding, and now again, because you guys can see that it's all live and I'm not bullshitting, that's why I'm searching for the best effects, basically, for what I want to get. I think this is kind of it. This is supposed to be it. Right, so let's check out Navi's ad-libs and put the same delay thing. Her ad-libs don't go into a very dense part of the mix, so hopefully for her it's gonna be better. Same? Yes, I'm using medium release on both. there's a lot more things that are going to happen, but I will not do all of them tonight because this is going to be a longer mix with a lot of FX, and it's probably going to be. I'm probably going to have to do quite a few moves in the automation section. So I'm liking where it is right now. The next thing that I want to add a reverb for, probably the plates, is for the guitar lead on the vocal, right? On the choruses. So this one. Now this one sounds nice, but I just want to goo it all over and put a plate on it, -16 maybe even, and let it spread a bit. Let's see. Nope, not a good idea. But let's raise the guitars nevertheless. What I do want from these things is a tiny bit more presence. Yes. So that means I'm just going to use the refinement tool from Brainworks. And I'm going to add just a tiny bit of presence. So it's grand for now. Now, what I want to do is start with a bit of mix bus processing, and then just a bit some of my mastering chain, and after that I'm going to leave it here tonight so I can listen tomorrow to it and actually correct what I don't like about it or not, because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be finished with it, not yet. So there we go into the mix bus processing thing. First, I've got the bus compressor. I've got the release at 1, attack at 30, ratio of 2. I'm not sure exactly if I'm going to compress. No, but I'm not going to compress the low end. So I need about 90 decibels of sidechain. 90 hertz, sorry. Yes, I'm sleepy. It happens. Mix lock, blah, blah, blah. What do I have here? Nothing that I need.
Behind the lights and find my light in shimmering eyes. Delaying days on wooden floors. Forget the world outside these walls.
Was it all for nothing? Must count for something. It was a nightmare in the end, but it's the best dream I've ever had. And
probably gonna be it for the mix, as far as mix bus processing goes.
The golden cage that I had bent was firmly pressed against my skin. I needed to leave behind the lies and find my light and shimmering eyes, to make days on wooden floors, forget the world outside these walls.
Was it all for nothing?
Nice. Now, just gonna get into my Better Maker Pultec clone type of EQ. Actually, it's not a clone. It's a type of shelving. Type of filter, sorry. This is what happens when I get tired. So, what I want to raise over here is just that bit of area between 2000, actually not between 2000, around 1000 and 4000. The mix has a bit of a problem over there. It's probably because of the production. My bad. So I need to raise that part over there, and I'm gonna look for around 3.2 kilohertz and just start raising a bit.
The golden cage that I had bent was firmly pressed against my skin. I needed to leave behind the lies and find my light and shimmering eyes, to make days on wooden floors, forget the world outside these walls.
Was it all for nothing? Must count for something. It was a nightmare in the end, but it's the best dream I've ever had.
No, I want it wider.
The golden cage that I had bent was firmly pressed against my skin. I needed to leave behind the lies and find my light and shimmering eyes, to make days on wooden floors, forget the world outside these walls.
Was it all for nothing? Must count for something. It was a nightmare in the end, but it's the best dream I've ever had. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the halfway how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. There's no air inside my room. The sound of silence gives
I have this feeling somehow, I don't know exactly why I have it, but it just feels like this weird old not in phase type of thing with the drums. And I don't know why I'm hearing that. So I'm just gonna go to a chorus over here. It just sounds like they're out of phase. And they don't have enough low end. Okay, so what happens here in reality is as soon as I'm raising this part over here, I'm raising the whole mix. So I don't want that. This is why the drums started sounding like that. So I'm going to put the Better Maker back there. I'm not going to use it at the beginning. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the vocals here. And I'm going to put a Better Maker type EQ, or actually the Better Maker.
And we ran to, and we ran to the beat of the drum, and we
to give them a bit more of the frequencies that I need to fill up the gap over there in the mix. So let's just copy this over here. and see what happens once we start dialing in the 3.1, 3.2 frequencies. Now it actually sounds better. And I've got this dip over there at about 100 something hertz, and I don't know where exactly it's coming from. Definitely not gonna be like this, for sure. And now there seems to be somewhere around 320 hertz or so. There seems to be this accumulation of factors. Now let's find that place and let's start dipping it. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Boost over here at about 6 kilohertz. Why not?
We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
Right, so what I'm gonna do with this thing over here, again, I'm not really pleased with it. Not now.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
yeah, I'm gonna do my normal mastering chain, so or part of it, and then I'm gonna leave it until tomorrow to figure out exactly what is not exactly perfect on it. The point is, by tomorrow evening, I'm actually gonna post the mix just down over there in the description, so you can hear probably my final mix of it. So we're gonna go right now for the voice EQ on mastering. We're gonna do our MS linear phase on ganged EQ. So there's a cut over here at about 20 hertz. I'm cutting this part over here at about 40 hertz, more or less. Right, and now I'm gonna listen to what's happening over here on the channels. And this wasn't good overlap over here to find. No, I don't want this. Nice. Or better. Right, so this is the side. Did want to check out one thing though. Did I actually do everything that I was supposed to do on the drive guitar? Yeah, I kind of did it. I was afraid that I messed up when I didn't EQ the drive guitar, but I did process it. Lucky me. I really hate it when it does this. Hopefully it's gonna become responsive again. Why? So, Softube, if you are watching this at any point in time, please make sure the voice interface um, does not start answering. See this? It's just not. Can't modify the cue. I can modify the cue from here, but I can't modify the cue from the interface. Okay, so this is more or less grand. What I need to do right now is just put on a bit of that Gulfas magic. I don't want to compress too much more because I don't really need to. Let's see if I have a problem here. More or less that. Right, so what do I want over here? I think I do want a bit of soothe right after this. Let's see if the clicky thing works now. Not that bad. Tape. And now it sounds more human.
but it's the best we've ever had. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we laughed till we came undone. We found the hard way out, good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we laughed till we came undone. We found the hard way out, good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
There's no inside my room. The sound of silence kills me too. I wait and wait
Standard clip.
still. Lost girl seeking thrills. You said
Now we want to clip the chorus just a tiny bit. Not too much, but just enough.
To the beat of the drum, and we laughed till we came undone. We found the hard way out, good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
there's no inside my room. The sound of silence kills me too. I wait and wait for answers still. Were you lost girl seeking thrills? You fed me honey with your words, the sweetest thing I've ever heard. And
I've just put the vocals 2.5 decibels louder. Let's hear this.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we laughed till we came undone. This escape is just a fucking mistake.
These can go just a tiny bit louder. So 0.5 louder.
When we laughed till we came undone. We found the hard way out, good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. And we ran to the beat of
Remember when I said I wanted to low cut this? I retract that. Let's see if it sounds better.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we laughed till we came undone. We found the hard way out, good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
Of course, there's some overlapping frequencies that I'm gonna probably take care of tomorrow. So, last thing in the mastering chain here is my Vice MM1 limiter, or mastering maximizer as they call it. It's a limiter.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we laughed till we came undone. We found the hard way out, good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we laughed
something weird happening over here. And I'm not exactly understanding what it is. So this is the main vocal.
There's no air inside my room. The sound of silence kills me too.
Yes, I have low harmonics. There is no problem there. We need to cut some of it.
There's no air inside my room. The sound of silence kills me too. I wait and wait. There's no air inside my room. The sound of silence kills me too. I wait and wait for answers still. Where you lost, girl, seeking fills. You fed me honey with your.
Did this thing actually do the low cut over here on the bass? So it is low cut. But did you do it as well? It is. I do not understand what's happening, but it just seems like the bass over here. It's not exactly cut.
Inside my room, the sound of silence kills me too. I wait and wait for answers still. Where you lost, girl, seeking thrills. You fed me honey with your words, the sweetest thing I've ever heard. And I'm not one to be fooled easily. This time I wanted to believe.
I held on to my strength till you held my hand and said, wasn't I living the end? But it's the best we've ever had.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we ran till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks.
Just trying to figure out the overlapping frequencies here. If I remember correctly, this one has an add over here at about 350, right? So what I need to do on this thing, so I make sure it doesn't overlap with that, is to take some of it out. Not too much though, because I just want it to be a clear thing. There's a lot of high percussion going on over here, so let me see if I can actually tame a bit more. Let's go to about 15 kilohertz, right? And then this is... This is not bad.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we lied till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
ladies and gents, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be finishing up for tonight in this stage of the mix, which is about 95%. Plus that I need to do automations, and I will probably submit the song as well to Turnamix, just because I did it and I can. So I'm gonna let you guys listen to the whole thing from top to bottom, and tomorrow, after I have a second listen to the thing, and if I do maybe half an hour or 1 hour of adjustments and automation, I'm gonna post the link just down over there in the description. Until then, you're gonna have a final listen to the mix in its stage right now. Just gonna show you guys without the inserts and without the sends how it sounds like the chorus. So that was it, and this is with everything on. Right, so I'm gonna let you guys listen to the whole song from top to bottom, and then I'm gonna say my goodbyes, and I'll see you guys next time on the stream. So this is tonight's mix.
It was crowded in this town. I needed to escape somehow. The golden cage that I had built was firmly pressed against my skin. I needed to leave behind the lies and find my light in shimmering eyes. To lay the days on wooden floors, forget the world outside these walls.
Was it all for nothing? Must count for something. It was a nightmare in the end, but it's the best dream I've ever had.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake.
There's no air inside my room. The sound of silence kills me too. I wait and wait for answers still. Were you lost, girl, seeking flows? You fed me honey with your words, the sweetest thing I've ever heard. And I'm not one to be fooled easily. This time I wanted to believe.
I held on to my strength till you held my hand and said it was a nightmare in the end, but it's the best we've ever had. And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone. We found the hard way how a good heart breaks, and now the sweetest escape is just a fucking mistake. I can still hear the violence in my head the night we kiss. I'll make music from the silences to let you know that you are missed.
I can still hear the promises. I'll never hurt you like the others did. I was just looking for my last one. Well, but all I seem to find is a lost one.
And we ran to the beat of the drum, and we la till we came undone.
We found the heartway, how it could all break, and now the sweetest mistake is just a fucking mistake.
Fucking mistake. A fucking mistake. A fucking mistake.
The sweetest mistake.
So, folks, this was it for me tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me just switch to the camera over here real quick. Yeah, so thank you so much for tuning in. I'm gonna be finishing this song tomorrow morning because it's already very late over here, and tomorrow I'm gonna actually have fresh ears. I'm gonna do the automation, and I'm gonna solve whatever problems, small problems there still are on this mix at this moment. I'm gonna do some throw delays and all of that, so I'm gonna post the mix just down there in the description and all of that. If you do like this type of content, please feel free to subscribe and to hit that notification button over there on the left, and that way I can actually you guys can actually be notified when I'm going into a live stream again. And yeah, if you want to learn some more stuff, if you don't already know, if you own console 1, if you just bought it and you don't know how it works, how the channel strips work and all of that, this was mixed in the SSL 9000 channel strip, which is the modern SSL. And yeah, that's kind of it. So have yourselves a great evening, and we'll talk probably next time in a couple of days when I'm going to do another live stream. So stay tuned. Bye bye.